conversation. Like she said, okay. Like she said, my name is Jennifer. A lot of people call me Jennifer, but my name is also Ebiseri Egbekai. I
Beautiful
am a
name.
Sorry, you said what?
It's a beautiful name, by the way.
Thank you. So is yours, actually. So yeah, I'm Ebiseri Egbekai. I am a music minister. I am a voiceover artist, and I am a chief encouragement officer.
Yeah.
I like to call myself that. And yeah, that's basically it for now. As we get into the conversation, I'm sure that we'll see certain aspects to me that, yeah.
Fantastic. I love that. Encouragement officer. It's really, really important because there's some situations we face in life that we just need someone to like
I'm
boost our
telling you.
spirits and help us keep pushing forward.
I'm
But
telling
going
you.
back to your the titles that you shared, like music minister and all the other
Yeah.
things, when did you first sense like this is my lane? Because I can imagine that perhaps you may have tried different things. Like, was it one of those things where like you woke up when you were 5 years old and you knew this is what I'm going to do? Or was there like a journey towards music, encouraging people, things like that? Tell us a little bit more, please.
Okay, so I'm just going to go back in time to, like you said, when I was little. Let me tell you, I was that little girl that would gather people in the house and say,
Wow.
"You play this drum, you sing this, you
No
do that." I will
way.
entertain everybody. I will sing.
Wow.
I remember that I will stand in front because we had a tortoise pond. I will stand in front of the pond and I will be speaking as if I'm speaking to a crowd of people. So, yeah, I can trace that aspect of my life back to childhood.
Hmm.
Um, but at the same time, um, fast forward many years later, I lost my passion for all of those things.
Hmm.
There was a phase of my life where I just felt so lost,
Hmm.
so passionless, so
Hmm.
purposeless, if there's a
Wow.
word like that. I just felt so lost, and it became something that geared me to want to then ask God, okay, so what am I here on earth to do? I'm giving a backstory to give
Hmm.
context,
Yes,
you
please.
know. So I began to ask God that what am I supposed to do? What am I on earth to do? Because I know that I have a purpose to serve you, but surely there must be something you have created me to do for the people here on earth. And what would that thing be? It became such a burden in my heart. But I didn't still at that point get a big voice from the clouds saying, "My child, this is what you're supposed to be doing." I didn't
Mhm.
get that, honestly. So, to answer your question, even though as a child I would speak, I would sing, I would do all of those things, I didn't really even see it as my purpose. I didn't see it
Mhm.
as that thing that I was called to do. So
Mhm.
even after this journey of wanting to know what I was supposed to do, I just knew that I didn't want every other person to feel that way. I
Mhm.
had that strong burden then to help people to just live their best lives because I felt that I wasted so much time,
Mhm.
passionless, purposeless. And so it began this whole journey of me just wanting to help people live their own best lives in love, in authenticity, in purpose. I just wanted people to be fulfilled.
Mhm.
Even at that time, I still didn't see it as my purpose. I'm taking you through the journey so that you see how the
This
human mind works. I
day.
still didn't have that aha moment of this is
Mhm.
what you're supposed to be doing.
Mhm.
I was still, you know, looking at Lord Jesus. Surely there must be one groundbreaking idea. Surely there must be this fantastic thing that will change the world. This thing that when my name is mentioned, it will be
Mhm.
attached to such a phenomenal, project or mission or
Mhm.
message. My sister, I'm sure God was just looking at me like, they play, my dear. They play. you know. So all in all, I just said all of that to say this. There was no one big moment of
Mhm.
realization, but at the point where I just started to connect the dots that if you look inwards, there's something here. You have to at some point take inventory and see that your life is following a certain trajectory. Why don't you stop belittling
Mm,
what you're doing,
mm,
belittling where you are, what you have been given, and push for it and just
mm,
do it with all your heart. And if you can be faithful in little, God will trust you with more. And so that's how I just started putting one, two, and three together. So yeah, there was no big moment, but even up till now, there are times when God reassures me to say, you are in the right space of
mm,
support. So even though I sing, even though I write, even though I do my podcast, even though I do all of these things, I speak, I know that there is an overarching purpose to all of that. And those are just tools,
mm,
that God uses through me to carry out that overarching purpose, which is to support, which is to encourage, which is to help other people live their own lives purposefully in love and authenticity. So those moments to me, sometimes when God reassures me to say that this you're in the right place, my dear, you're in the right place, you're doing the right thing. It's deeply poignant and it's
mm,
just reassuring, the feeling of reassurance, the feeling of validation, the feeling of affirmation, the feeling of relief
mm,
that
mm,
I'm in the right place. I'm doing the right thing. I'm on the right path. I'm on track with my life. And so those are the feelings that I get whenever I'm reminded.
mm,
So like I said, even though there's not that big moment, there are times when just even to give an example of what I'm saying, just like a few months back, somebody had a project, not a project per se, but something, an assignment they wanted to work on, and they got a lot of other people involved. And a lot of people were not carrying their weight. It became a
mm.
burden in my heart. I was coordinating it. You would think I was the
Yeah.
one that even initiated the idea. I was coordinating it. And at some point, I couldn't sleep.
Mm,
All I could think of was, how do we drive this thing? How do we get it done?
mm.
And I was tired because a lot of people weren't carrying their weight.
Yeah.
And one night, I was just telling God that why would you put this burden in my heart? I mean, let me to just relax like every other person. What is going on, dear Lord Jesus?
Mm.
And then I heard that voice. This is what you were made for.
Wow.
Power. Come and see me sobbing. So this was just like 2 months ago. Come and see me sobbing. It wasn't like
Wow.
tears of sadness or anything, but it
Mm.
was just like, yeah, you are on the right path. It will not always be easy. Purpose,
Yeah.
fulfilling purpose, it will stretch you. It will
Yeah.
not always be easy, but you are on the right path. You are
Yeah.
on the right path. And
Yeah. I
I'm
can
just again
imagine
so
that validation is so it's such
I'm
a relief.
telling you.
Because sometimes
Yeah.
you're busy pushing and you get overwhelmed, you start to question
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah.
And then when he like comforts you and reminds you like
Yeah. Yeah.
you're doing it right,
So
it's just so comforting.
absolutely.
That's amazing. I love
Absolutely.
that you said like there was no like one big moment. It was like Jesus came down from heaven and like this is what you should be doing. No, it's
I'm
like
telling you.
taking stock of what has been given to you in this moment and doing your best to
Yeah.
reward it well.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
a couple weeks ago, my son turned 1, and we were trying to make cookies.
Yay.
My daughter and I were trying to make cookies for the party, and she really, I think I shared this in my newsletter, but she was really wanting to help, right? And I gave her some
Okay.
small dough, like okay, roll it out a little bit, and then we'll see where it. But she was crying and
Yeah.
rolling like she wants a lot
Oh.
of dough. She wants all the dough. And in that moment, it was almost like God said, this is what happens when I've given you a little bit and you're coming to me moaning and complaining and wanting more. You have not
Thank you.
shown me that you
Thank
can
you.
actually handle this little bit and you're coming to cry to me for more. Like, I cannot, in all due honesty, give you more because you've not shown me that you have the capacity
Mm.
for this little. Even with Debbie, like,
Yeah,
it's just
very true.
flour, butter, sugar. It's not a big deal, but I still wouldn't give her more because she cannot handle more. It's just simple.
Yeah,
But if
true.
obviously if she shows me that she can do it, I'm happy to hand it all to her and say, enjoy, you
Exactly.
get. So for me, it
Exactly.
was just like a really good reminder for me with God and our
Yeah.
relationship with Him. Like if we can learn to
Yeah.
trust that He truly has our best interests at heart, we're not like
Very
functioning
true.
from a place of God is not wanting to give me more. I'm asking Him, blah, blah, blah. Like we'll just focus on
Yeah.
doing the best that we can with what we have. And then
Exactly.
over time, as we grow in our capacity, then He begins to reveal more to us, which I'm sure has been the case for you. So
Yeah, true,
so
true.
funny. But yeah, thank you so much for sharing.
You're
I think
welcome.
it's really important that you really took us back because sometimes it's really
Yeah.
important to paint a picture so that we can truly understand the complete story. My next question, I feel like you touched on it a little bit, but I'll still ask it.
Okay.
So what personal values sit at the center of everything you create? I know obviously, like you mentioned, the encouragement and helping people
Yeah.
um accomplish their purpose. But are there any other
Yeah.
core values that are like centered in the different things that you create?
Authenticity is one
Mm,
of them. I'm big on authenticity. You can't catch me doing everything or, wanting to be like any other person. There's no way. And that was why I was happy at the initial start of our conversation where you said, just feel free. It's not like so it's one of my core values, and
mm,
I take that into everything that I do. There were times when I would actually struggle with the songs that I write because I'll feel like, will people relate?
mm.
Let me just be writing praise and worship songs. But these are, I think I shared it with Tonya at some point, but these are the songs God has given me,
Mm,
and I began to just embrace
mm.
that, you are on your own path. Embrace
Yeah,
your story, embrace who you are. That's the
yeah.
only way you can reach out to the people who God has destined for you to reach out to. So that's one of the very big things: empathy, love, and not just in words, but in action, and non-judgment.
Mm,
No, like everything that I do is in non-judgment zone. I would definitely come across people who I don't always agree with. They don't always agree with me. We'll learn from each other. We'll agree to disagree, but there's just no judgment. And yeah, you touched on encouragement, support. Those are my core. And anything that takes me outside of that,
yeah.
no, is a big no. Is a big no.
I'm smiling so
Yeah.
hard because I feel like we have such similar core values.
Yes, yes, yes. I know. I
You
know, and
guys
that's why I
will
feel like I'm
do.
so drawn to you.
Yes, yes, you guys may not
Yeah.
know, but Ebiseri is one of our, so we have a mentorship program and she's one of our mentors and I don't have to send her reminders. She sends me updates on time, always gives lots of details. And that's
Yeah.
something that I would do too. So
Yeah.
really appreciate that. And I just wanted to say for anyone that's watching, like if you're afraid of showing up fully as yourself and feeling like you need to compare yourself to other people, let that lie lay down completely
Yeah.
because I believe that God has created each and every one of us uniquely for um a purpose. And I know that those
Yeah.
purpose sometimes evolves over time. But if you start off from a place where you are already copying someone else instead of being true to yourself, as
Yeah.
it's evolving into something that is not true to you.
Yeah.
So even if you are afraid or worried, like I'm working on something and I was like, oh, I'm so worried and afraid. What if in the middle of implementation, it shows that I don't know what I'm doing?
Mm.
And I said
Mm.
to myself, well, it's okay if it reveals that I don't know what I'm doing, because then I get an opportunity to learn and to grow.
Exactly.
So yeah, just try to be authentic to yourself. And if you don't know who you are and what you're about, just well, hit me in the DMs.
Abby.
I was gonna give you some step-by-step tips, but that's not why we're here. But yes,
Yeah.
really, I know a lot of people are struggling with that authenticity.
Yeah.
It's okay, you're afraid, but go ahead and do it afraid anyways.
I'm telling you.
Yes.
Telling
So
you.
one of the things that Ebiseri does is that she has like a podcast and I call
Yeah.
them pockets of sunshine. I listened to a few of them and like it just made me smile. I don't know whether it's the your voice, the background vocals or the topics that you touch on, but I
Yeah.
noticed that it's just 2 minutes and I wanted to ask like why
Yeah.
2 minutes? Why 2 minutes?
Ah. Um. Sometimes, why I feel like it's important for purpose to drive everything that you
Mm,
do, because there will come a time where your passion will fail in terms of that excitement isn't there.
mm,
At the time that I decided to do that, I didn't feel like. things, but I
Mm,
knew that I was supposed to be doing that, but I didn't feel like it. I just felt like everybody's talking. I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk right now, Lord Jesus. But I knew that I had to. It was an assignment. It was urgent. It was a burden
mm,
to me. And so
mm.
I said, okay, let's compromise. Let's just make it short and sweet.
Yeah, yeah.
But the next season might not be like that. After this season, it might not be like that. And there's no real big reason.
Mm,
I just wanted to obey, you
mm.
know,
Wow.
but just keep it
Yeah,
sweet and
I
short.
like that, short and sweet, and I think that really
Yeah.
captures it. Later on, I'll share the link so that everyone can tune in. It's just like I honestly call it pockets of sunshine because when you're just listening,
Yeah.
you just perk up. It brightens your day. So I
Yeah.
think everyone should really check it out.
Yeah.
Well, can you walk us through your process, like from when you get that urgency, like you said in your spirit, like you
Yeah.
need to do this,
Yeah.
to where you get to the final product of even if it's your podcast or whatever it is
Yeah.
you're working on, how do you walk through that process?
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that a lot of people can relate. People with varying interests and varying, tools. A lot of people can relate to this. So sometimes it just feels like you know how the Bible says that you will hear a voice behind you telling
Mm,
you go
yeah.
to the left or go to the right. And then sometimes there's one translation that baffled me. It said turn around.
Mm,
you know yeah, so it's not just even about going to the left or to the right. It's sometimes, it's saying take a step back,
mm,
reverse,
mm,
go back, because in order for you to go forward, sometimes you have to make a
mm,
u-turn. So it's like that for me at the initial stage. Sometimes it just feels like every other thing is black and white, then that aspect is highlighted.
mm.
There's no method to my madness, as people will say, but but it just feels like that particular thing is so highlighted, becomes urgent
Mm,
to me.
mm.
Rise and Radiate season 2 is already ready. I just haven't recorded. Everything is already ready. In fact, three, up to three, is already ready. I don't know the exact form it will take, but it's all, I have done everything in my head. I have put it all
Mm,
together. So when it's time to, the last time I put out music was maybe 2 years ago.
mm.
Yeah, 2 years ago. When it's time, and I don't do anything just because it's cool to do it
Yeah.
or I'm being pressured to. That is one thing you can never catch me doing.
Mm,
Just because I'm being pressured to. No, it's not something that I do. But when the time is right, it will just be all I see. It will just be all I
mm.
can focus on. It will just be
Yeah.
so alive in me to do that. And I'll just begin to make the calls, put the planning in process and all of that. That's just how it works for me. It's just highlighted and I
Mm,
go with it. I go with that voice.
mm.
Even though it's not like a loud voice,
Yeah.
but somehow you just notice that God is just carrying you,
Mm,
carrying you. If you're willing to follow, and before
mm.
you know anything, we've done this thing, shall that's just how
Yeah.
it is for me.
I love that. I really love that. So is that like
Yeah,
following as he's leading you instead of
exactly.
resisting
Yeah,
God, resisting the call? It's like you
yeah,
move into it. Um,
yeah.
and honestly, I found that that's the best because if God is already going this way and he's telling you let's go, it's best for you to just follow. Because if you
Better
keep
follow.
resisting, you just give yourself so much headache, so much stress. And
Exactly.
when he's pointing you out to a certain thing, it means that he's put resources in place for
Yeah,
in you.
yeah.
So when you're leaning into it, like it might stretch you, but there's grace
It
for it.
will stretch you.
It will
Exactly.
stretch, yeah, for sure. Because it's
Exactly.
always building our capacity, right?
Yeah.
So can I ask when
Yes,
you put
please.
out an episode, um, how do you kind of get feedback? Not about like metrics or like how many numbers or whatever.
Yeah.
What tells you like this episode? Yeah, I know that it has done its job. It's been released out there.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes people will just reach out to me and just say,
Mm,
thank you.
mm,
I needed to hear that.
mm,
And I'm like, thank you, Jesus.
mm.
Even if it's just that one person, like I
Yeah.
always tell myself, forget about the 99 that
Mm.
don't click on it.
Oh,
You
that's
know,
good.
I appreciate God for that one and that thing that God has used you to do in that person's life. And so I'm so grateful for people that take their time to reach out, aside leaving a comment,
Mm,
that would reach out and say, thank you for that episode. Thank you for those words you shared. It
mm.
meant a lot. I needed to hear that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and sometimes it's even for me, sometimes
Mm.
it's for me myself.
Yeah.
And if it
Mm,
touches my heart, I know that surely it will touch somebody's heart, because if
mm.
there's one, there's more.
Hey, wow.
you know
That's really good
yeah.
to write down. If there's one, there's more. I need to remember that.
Right, that.
Yeah, I completely understand what you're saying. Like when someone reaches out
Yeah,
to you to say thank you, this really
yeah,
what it impacted my life. It's just so
yeah.
encouraging, even if it's just the one person, because
I'm
um
telling you.
yeah, if the Bible says that all of heaven and the angels are rejoicing because of one, then why
Yeah,
wouldn't we appreciate just one?
yeah,
And I think that
yeah.
can put into perspective for someone because sometimes we're looking at the numbers, the likes, the reposts, like, oh,
Exactly.
1,000 people, 100 people, oh, this and that.
Exactly.
But you if you're
Exactly.
following through on what God has called you to do, trust that He has the people that He wants for you to be impacted. So
Yeah,
yeah, don't get too carried
very
away with
true.
numbers, bottom line.
Exactly. Don't measure your success by numbers, but by impact.
Mm.
Numbers. Yeah, when
Right.
it gets to that point, all good and
Yeah.
well, but
Mhm.
honor whatever stage you're
Mhm.
in terms of how people receive what you put out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, whatever stage you're in, I like that. Okay, so
Auntie
going,
they right.
yeah, I will take notes. So because I have plans to turn all these things into resources at some point. Hopefully before the year.
Okay. Okay.
So
Nice.
I like to like kind of
Nice.
note down things that really like strike me when I'm asking,
Yeah.
and hopefully I'll be able to
Yeah.
put that into things that people can use in.
Yeah.
So going to your book, Dear AB.
Yes.
So I bet that like you were looking because it's very personal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
and you're just like really like honest and open.
Yeah.
So as you were kind of like, first of all, how long did it take you to even put that book together? Can I ask?
Yes, you can. I think um was it 2023? I decided to just write letters to myself,
Hmm.
not just from 2023, but I would even backdate it to as if,
Hmm.
how try to remember how I was feeling in the past at certain points in my life, and then, write about it. I was just doing it for doing its sake,
Hmm.
you know. So I just started writing those letters, and at some point I decided, you know what, I'm going to compile this and I'm going to put it out. I'm going to put it out. So even though it may look as if it was just like a 3-year project, but it dates back to things that happened
Yeah.
way, way back up
Yeah.
until the point of writing it.
It's so amazing
So,
how
yeah.
intentional God is. Sometimes you're doing things you think you're just doing it, but He's like,
Yeah.
I've got plans for that. Don't worry.
Exactly. Exactly.
But what
Exactly.
was one? I'm sure, like as you were writing the letter, there's so many truths
Mm.
that came to you, especially when you're looking
Yeah.
way back and having that, I guess, more wisdom in the future, your older version. Like, what was one truth
Yeah.
that surprised you, and how did it change you? Like, especially when you're like looking at experiences that happened to you in the past. Like when you were writing
Hmm.
letters, tell us like one. Yeah.
Yeah, the importance of knowing who you are, your
Mm,
identity, settling your identity.
mm,
I didn't know until I put it in writing, until I took time to put it in writing. I
mm,
didn't know how much I was affected and how various aspects of my life were affected because I didn't
mm,
know who I was, especially in Christ.
mm,
I didn't understand exactly who God made me. I didn't embrace the totality of all that God placed on the inside of me. I didn't see myself as that masterpiece
mm,
that God talked about. And I think that writing, putting it down helped me see that just settling any your identity issues or my identity issues as it were would have solved 90% of the existential crisis or challenges that I faced.
Mm,
You know, so it was just so clear that identity is a big deal, and that settling that and the outlook you have, I mean, settling that just helps you, um I don't know how it gives you a better outlook on not just your life, but how you show up in the world.
yeah.
So I think identity, I would say identity, because it was responsible for the insecurities, the what's that thing called? Something syndrome.
Okay, imposter
That
syndrome.
imposter syndrome, self-doubt, all
Yeah,
the limiting beliefs. Just
yeah.
because I didn't see myself the way God saw me, that I can do all things through Christ who
Mm,
strengthens me, that
mm,
I am a masterpiece. I was created in the image and likeness of God. Surely I was made to have dominion. You know, I
mm,
didn't embrace that.
mm,
And yeah, it was beautiful to eventually see it play out in the way that it did and just help me realign,
mm,
realign with who God made me to be. Yeah.
mm. So if there's a young lady watching this now and she's like, I don't know, like I want
Yeah.
to have that clarity of identity, but
Mm.
I feel so confused. Like, what is one thing you can advise her to do to get her on the right path?
I'm just going to say this. You have to first of all see you the way God sees you.
Mm,
There are a lot of things that can that people look to say, I am an MD, I am a CEO, I am this, I am that in terms of their achievements.
yeah.
But what then happens when all that, if all that is stripped away, the
Mm,
foundation of your identity should be Christ, His Word. Who does He say you are?
mm,
Just see every scripture, chat GPT it or Google it, scriptures that in fact read there AB, there are tons of scriptures there. You know, read every scripture that tells you who you are in Christ and how He has made you,
mm,
you know, and that will set the foundation and the tone
mm,
that you then begin to build on. First and most important, look at yourself through the lens of God, not your mistakes, not your shortcomings or what we call our weaknesses, not your imperfections, not your environment, not what people have told you about you, not the lies you have believed about yourself.
mm,
Look at yourself through the lenses of God, the one who made you. What does He say about you?
mm,
What does He say about you? I remember one time,
mm.
I remember that Tonya would tell me that, Jennifer, the lens you are using to, the mirror that you are using to look at yourself, I don't understand though. I don't understand because it's lying to you.
Mm,
This mirror is lying to you. And so it just made me think and reflect that, you know what? It's not even about what I think I can do or who I think I am. Who does God say I am? Let's just get that straight
yeah,
and then begin to work with that.
yeah,
Work with that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's so good. Because I mean, I don't know how to capture what I want to say, but
Yeah.
so spot on. Because yeah, you might still be struggling. Like you'll have those like doubts
Yeah.
sometimes. It doesn't mean that once you, but if you keep reminding yourself of who God says or what
Exactly.
God says about you, then you can keep
Yeah.
adjusting, like they say, like adjust your crown or keep your
Exactly.
whatever
Oh.
it is.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's not like once you clock it, like it would be like, oh,
You've clocked it forever and
yeah,
ever.
you
Mm-mm.
keep,
Yeah.
working it out. But
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
completely, absolutely,
Thank you for highlighting that. It's very
yeah.
important as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it was a game changer for me as well, like really seeing
Mm.
myself the way God sees me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so good. Thank you. So
Fine, babe.
see this one, God is fine, baby. You're the fine babe. Anyways, God is beautiful. So he
Plenty
creates
fine children.
exactly.
Yeah.
we're made in his image and likeness.
Yes,
He not
so
hold anything back when he came to us. So
exactly,
yeah.
exactly.
So now
Yeah.
I've had this conversation before in the past, but like how do you choose? Because there's a lot of yourself that you're revealing in your writing, in your podcast.
Hmm.
So how do you
Hmm.
balance that like
Yeah.
vulnerability without feeling exposed? Or there's one
Hmm.
I can't remember one word, but like yeah, how do you balance it so that it's not like you're just exposing yourself? Like what guardrails do you
Hmm.
keep?
Like you're
uh,
naked.
yes. Like are there things that are like okay,
Hmm.
yeah, how just walk us through it because I know we live in a culture where like a lot of people are sharing so many things, and sometimes it feels like
Yeah.
okay, maybe this one you should have kept to
To yourself, my
yourself,
dear.
or maybe shared with people in your community that have earned
Exactly.
that trust. Like where do we
Yeah.
draw the line? How do you balance it? Just
Yeah.
give us a little.
Yeah. You've even started to answer the question. Sometimes you just ask yourself, do I need to say this? Can
Mm,
I pass this message across without revealing this much about myself?
mm,
Would I be okay after I'm down from that high of wanting to help
mm,
everybody? Would I be
mm,
okay knowing that this set of people know this about me?
mm,
Is it personal? Is it private? Is it how do I say this? Is it have I healed? One of the other things,
mm,
have I healed from this thing that I want to put out in the world? Would it be a traumatic experience for me sharing this?
mm,
Am I okay? And then what is the reason? There's one song that they say, what is the reason? Why do I want to share this? Sometimes I find that we want to share things because we want to justify our actions. We
mm,
want people to understand us by fire, by force.
mm,
You know, we want people to empathize with us, you know. And sometimes if we leave that to people, it brings more disappointment
mm,
because not everybody will agree with your process, not everybody would agree with your message, not
mm.
everybody would agree with that thing you are saying, not everybody would agree.
Yeah.
So I ask, it's a very nuanced topic
Mm,
because there are different strokes for different folks.
yeah.
But for me, I just get to ask myself, can I pass on this message without revealing this much? And sometimes I share, but then
Yeah.
I don't share it all. Like I don't go into the nitty gritty. And then I ask myself, is this a safe space? Like you said,
Mm,
is it the right? Is it a safe space? There are some things when I'm speaking to maybe like a mixed congregation, as it
yeah.
were, there are some things I will never ever say.
Mm,
But when I'm speaking with maybe a certain group of people, like minded, similar, we have similar stories and everything, it's easy to share certain things because I know that they probably understand better. They are not judging me, they won't make me feel bad for it. Sometimes if we're not able to determine the right space where we're sharing different things, we expose ourselves too much. And vulnerability or authenticity shouldn't make us feel naked.
mm,
It should be that we're sharing our real story, our experiences within our limits.
mm.
Like nobody's pointing a gun to your head to say, there's some things that I will there's some things in there, AB, let's not even go too far, that as at some years ago I would never have been able to talk about. I would never have been able to, share.
Yeah.
But as time goes on, you know that I can share.
Mm,
Now, I'm going to say this, and I want everybody listening to hear this. Like we talked about authenticity, the truth of the matter is that for God, for you to meet your right audience, you know that there's a community for you. There's a community for your message. There's a set of people that God has sent to you. And for you to reach the right people that you were born to reach, you have to share your true story. You have to share your authentic story.
so true.
But it still doesn't mean that you have to say things you are not ready for.
Mm,
That's on the one hand.
mm,
On the other hand, there will come a time when God will ask you,
mm,
or let's say might, to share something you do not feel like you're ready to share.
Mm,
Because sometimes the enormity of
mm,
things that we go through is in our own head.
mm,
And sometimes for us to break out of
mm,
the yoke
mm,
that circumstance has put us in, even the devil knows that. He
mm,
doesn't want you to shine the light on that particular thing. So it's just you being able to decipher and obey God, because definitely God will lead you. And there will be that gentle nudge that, my daughter, I know you might not be ready to share this, but it's time. And if I let you go forever and ever, you
mm,
might not. You might not. And I've seen in my own life, I'm not asking everybody to do that, but I've seen in my life. I remember when I talk about insecurity, and the first time I started to talk about me being in a season where I didn't have passion for anything, I didn't feel like I belonged in this world.
mm,
I remember when I put that in the book, I said, I will never share this. It was a major insecurity for me that I put my life on hold because I was waiting for, oh, when this happens, I will do that. It was so I became ashamed,
mm,
of those wrong choices, those delays, and all of that. But sharing it, I'm telling you, I'm not ashamed of it anymore, especially because it stirred me into the process of understanding that we all go through our various journeys. This is mine. I
mm,
have to embrace it. I have to be true to myself. And as I walk through this, I have to remove the personal shame stigma, of bearing that burden.
mm,
And I know that there's some things that I've shared that I started to, it didn't now mean anything to me afterwards. But everybody has to know that for themselves. And you can never don't be pushed, just be comfortable. But when God is telling you to, then share. Make
mm.
sure it's in the right place and is in a safe space. Now, I want to also highlight this. I'm sorry this question is taking time,
No,
but
no
because
problem.
of the
Please
nature of,
carry on.
yeah, because of the nature of what I do, is something that I have to deal with time and time again.
Mm,
So I want to say this. Um, just because people point fingers at you
mm,
for when you're vulnerable, just because they say it can never be me, just
mm,
because people say I can't relate. You know how we said don't focus on the 99
mm,
some time ago? Let's apply that here also.
mm,
Don't focus on that. If God has asked you to share, then there must be that one person that
mm,
will gain healing or will start their own healing process from that thing.
mm,
I give an example. There was a lady who wrote a book in my
mm,
church. It was a book about domestic violence.
mm,
Um, a lot of people, if there's anybody that we did that book review together, let's say 99% of the people in that book review thing, everybody was like, it can never be me. I can never relate to
mm.
this. This can never be my story. How did you allow this to happen?
Wow.
Now, I beg, I beg. And
Wow.
sometimes sometimes people will just start looking at you with one kind of eye when you shared, and then you start feeling bad, like, oh,
Mm,
why did I share this? But the amazing thing about this is somebody called me
mm,
and said, my sister, you see this thing. She couldn't say it in front of everybody, but because it was like everybody was
yeah.
saying, this can never be me, this can
Yeah.
never be me. She called me and we talked for like 2 hours. She said,
Wow.
this is exactly my story. This is exactly my story. And that just boosted my confidence also in some of the things that I will share. There's some things I will share about myself that so many people who are I don't know how to put it, very driven and goal oriented and very
Yeah.
gym. Like, I have to achieve this. I have to get this amount of money in the next so and so. I have to. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say. There are so
Yeah.
many
Yeah.
people that will not be able to relate with my story,
Yeah.
especially when I talk about my insecurities. They'll be like, no, I have. This can never be me as well. But then they are not the people God called you to.
Exactly. They're not your target
Yeah,
audience.
so
Mm.
The bottom line of everything is that it's very nuanced, but you have to just search your heart.
Mm.
Search your heart. As in addition to all of the things we said, make sure
Yeah.
that you hear if God is saying do it, share, share.
Yeah.
And with these few points of mine, I hope I've not talked your ears off.
No, you haven't. Honestly, I believe that you shared because someone needs to hear that. Uh,
Yeah.
and it's so funny that there's people saying it can never be me. Uh, but the statistics say otherwise.
Exactly.
Yes,
Exactly.
yeah, there's so many stories, and it's something that I'm really passionate about because I don't know why I'm going on this tangent because it has such massive implications on
Yeah.
not just the victims, but also
Yeah.
those that are in their atmosphere or their stratosphere, whatever. The
Yes.
children, people that get to see it, even the perpetrators too, because it has
Exactly.
such a terrible impact on our souls when something like that happens. And sometimes
Yeah.
it's not just physical violence. There's,
Yeah. Emotional.
emotional abuse, there's financial abuse, there's sexual, there's
Yeah.
all kinds of abuse, even
And
coercive.
I just recently heard of spiritual abuse. I never thought of
Oh
it that way.
yes, because lots of people have church hurts, where people
Exactly.
manipulate you. Like there's this, yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. So
Hmm.
like even God gives us free will, and there's
Yeah.
lots of people, I won't call them pastors, there's lots of people that are taking advantage of others and controlling their lives because they've submitted to them.
Yeah.
Instead of teaching them and raising them to be able to lean in on their own relationship with God, God doesn't force us to do anything. Even accepting
Yeah.
Jesus, we have a choice. And so that choice is a
Yeah.
fundamental aspect of our rights as human beings. God made us in his image and
True.
likeness. So that is why he doesn't force us because he made us like him, like a God.
Exactly.
Nobody can
Yeah.
force God to do anything.
Yeah.
He is who he is.
I'm telling
So
you.
he has given us that
Yeah.
right. Even in Deuteronomy, he says, I have set before you life and death. And I
And
encourage you
death.
strongly to choose
Choose
life.
life.
But he doesn't say you must, right?
Exactly.
He never says
Exactly.
that. He always wants us to choose
Yeah.
him. But he's not going to force us. And
Yeah.
anyone that is forcing you to do anything, either like overt or covert, is not
Yeah.
someone that you want to trust. Please,
Exactly.
remove yourself from that situation as fast as you can.
Exactly.
Your um if your what they call it, your intuition is telling you there's something wrong here, there's red flags. Don't
I'm telling
ignore
you.
it. Me, I've ignored it in the past, and it's put me in
And you
so
saw
much
Shege.
trouble. I did see Shaggy. But I thank God because every experience that I've had, I'm committed to making sure that it adds value to other people, so I
Never.
don't see it as a
Exactly.
waste. Doesn't mean that I had to go through it. I
Exactly.
shouldn't have. But I'm wiser now, and I'm shouting it out so that everyone
Exactly.
too can avoid it.
Yeah.
We've kind of segued a lot, but I think
I'm
that
telling you.
that's what happens when two girls are gisting, two girls that are on the same wavelength. We just because I think we feel safe
Story will
with
jump
each other
story.
to just share.
Yeah.
Yes. So we're going back to the prearranged questions. So you invite people to bring the good, the bad, the awkward, and the ugly. Pretty much you're saying
Yeah.
show up fully as yourself, right? So what does that
Uh-huh.
look like
Yeah.
for you on an ordinary Tuesday?
So what does that look like?
Yeah, bringing that good,
Please,
bad.
can you take the question again? I invite people to
Yeah,
bring
I
in
said
the
in
good,
your
bad.
even in your podcast, your writing, everything that you're doing, you
Yeah.
need to like invite
Mm-hmm.
people like show up with your good side,
Yeah.
your bad side, the awkward parts, the
Yeah.
ugly side.
Yeah.
So what
Yeah.
does that look like for you in your own life? Like on just a
It
regular day?
it just looks like me being present and being
Mm,
in the moment and me understanding that it's just okay to be present here and now,
mm,
just as you are, just how you are,
mm,
you know, just show up, just how you are. You know, that doesn't mean that you wouldn't strive to be better, but it's okay. Come
yeah.
as you are. Even the
Mm,
Lord says, come as you are,
mm,
you know, so and it's not just in the good character or bad character, it's even in the happy or sad
mm,
today,
mm,
bubbly or reflective or
mm.
just, you know.
Yeah.
one kind, one feeling, one kind.
Yeah.
Just being okay in the moment. How you anyhow that Tuesday meets me,
Yes.
Sha. That's how
And so don't pretend that you're feeling
exactly.
um
Mm-hmm.
this thing
Yeah.
upbeat if you're
Yeah.
not feeling that way. Like own
Yeah.
it, lean into it.
Yeah.
Maybe even ask yourself questions, what's making me feel this way? Not just
Yeah.
because I find that a lot of people
Yeah.
their feelings deep. Sometimes we eat ice cream instead of confronting how we're feeling. But like if you just
Ah.
own it for what it is, like, oh, I don't really feel
Yeah.
great today.
Yeah.
But not like just wallowing in it, but kind of like interrogating and
Exactly.
seeing. And that way you can kind
Yeah.
of like if there's something that needs to be fixed, maybe you need to have a conversation with your friend, or if you have a therapist or something, you know that okay, I can take these actionable steps and
Yeah.
start to maybe feel
You're
better.
so wise, full of wisdom. Very
Thank
true. Very true.
Um, yeah, okay. So for someone listening who wants healing, but
Yeah.
they're feeling scared,
Mm.
what's one gentle first step they can take this week or weekend?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Know that you're not alone.
Mm,
Know that God will be there to hold your hand and trust the process. What's one gentle step? Maybe I'm giving like five different things, but one gentle step you can take is just the mindset that healing is possible.
mm,
Healing is possible, and I am open to it. Even if I know that it can be painful, it might be painful.
mm,
It will be painful because when you want to treat a wound, definitely by the time you pour, what's that thing? Hydrogen peroxide or some of all those things, Sha, it's painful, but just knowing that it's possible,
mm,
it's needed, and it's possible,
mm,
and that you will come out of whatever it is that you need healing from. Just,
mm,
it's possible. That mindset, don't be afraid to begin that journey.
mm.
So I
That's
feel
so
like the
profound.
mindset thing.
Yeah,
Hmm?
I feel like I said that's so profound because actually
Mm.
at the core of most things that we struggle with is mindset.
Yeah.
Many times we're so wrapped up in a situation that it feels like
Yeah.
there's nothing outside of it. But if you can really think it's possible to actually get healing and get out of this,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's what starts that journey. So
Yeah.
that's really profound. Thank you. We've actually got a question.
Okay.
So yes. So sorry, I hope I'm saying her name right. Yin Layefa Thompson
Yeah.
on LinkedIn. She's
Yeah.
saying, is there anything like a perfect time to share your story? Oh, I think you've answered this a little bit, but maybe you can shed more
Mm.
light on it. Is it when you're going through or after you have overcome?
Hmm. So I gave two instances. One will be after you have overcome. It's dangerous to share from a place of hurt and a place of, like, from a place when the wound is still fresh. Most times, because you haven't really processed it, you don't want that story out there, and it can just trigger another thing that will just become a traumatic experience for you. So
Mm,
there's that part. And then I talked about the other aspect. Like I said, it's very nuanced. You have to search your own soul when it comes to that. So then there's another aspect of it too, where sometimes the thing that will jumpstart that healing for you
sure.
is inviting people
Mm,
into that experience.
mm,
And by people, I don't mean just everybody. It has to be a group of people that can relate, that that you in a safe space, where a space where you feel safe, where you feel seen, where you feel like you will be heard, and all of that. So sometimes God really does ask us to share
mm.
um things from a place of pain and still wound, but you have to know that it is God asking you to. And then, but sometimes you don't have to.
Yeah,
So yes, there can be a right time, a right place, but it is not, generally speaking, it's not advisable to speak from when you're still going through it. When you've
yeah.
overcome, it's fine. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, actually, it's quite.
Hope I've answered your question. First of all, thank you for joining. Thank
Yes, thank you guys so
you.
much for tuning in. I think that's yeah, it's quite nuanced.
Yeah, it
It really
is. It
is.
is.
Yeah. Um, but I think what she mentioned earlier about like I think for me the word I'll use is discernment. Like really check
Exactly.
motives. Like why do you feel like why do you feel led to share this story?
Yeah.
It's like if you're
Yeah.
looking for validation out there,
Exactly.
sorry to say you
Ah,
you're gonna get
Wala
yourself
will
in
bust too.
trouble. Exactly. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's because it's quite it's quite nuanced. But
Yeah, it is
so
very nuanced.
I would recommend, I always recommend Jesus 100% to everyone.
Yeah.
I feel like if I could give you like 1,000% recommendation, I'd say go for it.
Jesus.
The reason I'm sharing that now is because there are some things that, in fact, most things actually, you need the Holy Spirit to kind of guide you on, like, okay,
Exactly.
this particular topic or this particular wound, you're gonna have to do
Yeah.
it. Me and you will do it together. Then later
Exactly.
on. But there's
Exactly.
some things that you'll be like, okay, we need to bring it out for air to come in so that you can
Exactly.
actually get healing. Um,
Yeah.
so I would recommend
Yes, really
I
true.
would recommend having a relationship with God.
Yeah.
100%.
Simple and short. Simple and short.
100%. There's no need to complicate it.
Mm.
But yeah, if you self-reflection, I think is so key. Because it kind of helps you be honest with yourself and you see
Yeah.
your reason behind certain things. And once you
Exactly.
understand the reason behind it, then perhaps you can find a healthy or healthier alternative. So if you're noticing that
Exactly.
you want to share because you're looking for people to like you or approve of you or feel like
Mm.
you're doing what other people are doing, if you notice that's
Mm.
what you're doing, then you can kind of tune it and say, okay, if I'm looking for approval, that means there's something that's missing inside. So let's lean
Exactly. And I
into
need to look into it.
yes, figure out why I'm feeling that way, and this is a healthy way that I can process
Mm.
this so that I'm not looking for
Yeah.
outside validation.
Yes, so.
Yes, sis. Let me check to see if I hope that we were able to respond to her question. Yinla, yeah, I'm so sorry. If I haven't said your name properly, please forgive me. But I
Okay.
hope that that's kind of answered your question. Let me check YouTube to see if there's anything on there before we
Okay.
continue. Um, okay, I don't see any messages on there. Okay, fantastic. Right, so you have a foundation. Tell us a little bit about it.
So, Ebiseri Egbekai Foundation, it actually started as just the Teeny by AB. No, yeah, it just started as me just going to secondary schools to just talk about, living a life of purpose, talk about
Mm,
just helping them evoke a deeper sense of self-awareness and
mm,
social consciousness.
mm,
Okay, let me not even say that's where it started. It started with me mentoring teen girls, but anyway, it evolved into that.
yeah.
And in 20, I think last year, so it has also evolved and grown branches. So we're
Mm,
looking to, so one of the things we have four major passion projects that we work on.
mm,
One is the ZB project, and that's in honor of elderly people and
mm,
the elderly community and elderly caregivers.
mm.
There's just
Mm,
I don't remember being exposed to materials or anything about taking care of elderly people until I started to I became a caregiver for my elderly father, and
mm,
I saw that in fact a lot there's a lot going on in that
mm,
area, and I just felt like people need support and people need um encouragement,
mm,
whether it's with counseling or just with gifting them, because it's a whole lot. And then I wanted to do other things for elderly people, like go to the elderly people's homes and just have a good time with them, read them stories, sing for them. So that's one aspect, and that was inspired by my father, whose name
mm,
is Zibi. And
mm,
then there's another project. It is the should I be breaking it down for you? I should just generally tell you that we just want to support people, sha. We just want to serve the underserved.
Break it down because perhaps someone that's listening might see
Yeah.
there's
Okay. And then
opportunities to collaborate.
yeah, exactly. And then the Naya project
Mm,
is in honor of my late mother.
mm,
So that aspect, we just want to reach out to motherless babies,
mm,
orphans, and just help them in any way that we can,
mm,
provide support and all of that. And then Timmy project. Now that is where it all started. I talked about going to secondary schools and all of that, but that also now had another branch. So the Timmy project is divided in two. One will be it's called the Nova project. That's the work with teens. That's
mm,
where we were, and then now we're expanding it to the Phoenix project. I told you about how that I didn't embrace the totality of me earlier on, and at a point I felt like it's too late for me,
mm,
So that's a passion for me to also help people who feel like it's too late to say, my dear,
mm.
it is not too late to live,
Wow,
to dream again, to believe again that there's
wow.
better out there. You can still
Mm,
do more. There's more to live, more to give, which is, something I talk a lot about in Rise and Radiate as well. So
wow.
basically, the foundation generally is just to see how we can help in
Mm.
these various aspects, and
I love
more
it.
things
It's
will
all
come. But
inspired by, well, you've got it's inspired by your dad, your mom, your
yeah,
experiences. And I think
yeah,
that's what's important for you to share that,
mm,
because perhaps it can kind of help people to think that their own personal experiences should actually shape the kind of impact
mm,
that they do.
we make, yeah,
So because it's really personal to you, you've created this thing that
very,
is going to impact not just your family, but other people as well.
yeah.
I think that that's so powerful.
Thank
And
you.
I'm happy, I would love to to support any way that I can. So if you
Yay,
got the
thank
link
you.
for donating money or you ever need to collaborate to
Oh,
pull on resources, please
thank you.
please
Yeah,
um
I will be calling on you.
yes.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah,
Okay, so then when opportunities come, like a new song
yeah,
or maybe even a new book idea or
yeah,
project, how do you, because this program is called Choosing Well. Like, how do you
yes.
choose well? Maybe are there any questions you ask yourself to kind of help you streamline or whatever? Like, what are some things that perhaps someone that's also working on a new project can bear in mind
Yeah.
that helped you in the past?
Sometimes I just look at where I am in that moment, the things that are at the fore of my existence at that point. So I would say, for instance, when I'm putting together a body of work when it comes
Mhm.
to music, it's probably lyrics that I can relate to the most at that time.
Mm,
I don't know if you understand what I'm
yeah.
saying. Yeah. Okay. So, for instance, if I'm also thinking of what to share on Rise and Radiate, when I think of, okay, what do I want to share? Maybe something that just happens, or maybe something that I've come across in that moment, and I say, okay, you know what, this would be a good idea to throw more light on this to see
Mm,
how, I can just help in my own little way. So basically, it's just where I am in the moment, or when I remember where I was,
mm.
you know. So, yeah, and if I see something going on with someone or with people, I can still say, okay, if there's one, there's more.
Mm.
So let me,
Using that phrase because of you now. If there's one, there's more.
yeah. So I'll just carve out something that I feel like will bless that person,
Yeah.
and hopefully other people too going through similar situations can relate. Did
Mm.
I answer the question,
I
or
think
did I not understand the question?
I think you answered the question. So
Okay.
you're attuned to like what's going on around you because
Yeah.
you're kind of taking inspiration from everywhere, the people
Yeah.
around
And
you, experiences you've
very
had in the
true.
past and present.
Yeah. And then sometimes God will lay in your heart, what to say.
Yeah.
And that's key, because sometimes you're not getting maybe green light or anything from anywhere,
Mm.
and you're nothing is flowing, but somehow God just drops that in your spirit as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I believe he's always speaking to us and it
exactly.
sounds simple, but it's
Mm.
not something that I always believed.
Yeah.
I think if you truly believe that he's always speaking to you,
Yeah.
then you start to pay attention.
Very
And
true.
when you start to pay attention, you actually see that he is always speaking. And I think
Yeah.
it gives you that extra confidence. Like, because for me, sometimes when I'm in certain rooms, it's like, "Ugh, why am I here? What am
Yeah.
I going to say?" But then just
Exactly.
like, I guess the Holy Spirit kind of reminds me, like, I've sent you here. You have the solution to
Mm.
what they're looking for. The problem,
Yeah.
you have the answer.
Yeah.
And so many times I will prepare as much as I can. So I think that
Mm.
there's a place for like doing your due diligence, doing your research.
Yes.
But then when you've done that bit, just trust that, he will put it all together in a unique, beautiful way that only Holy Spirit
Exactly.
can do. Um,
Mm.
so I guess for me, my answer to the question that I've asked you is
Yeah.
doing your own part, but also leaning
Yeah.
into inspiration from God.
Yeah.
And I think just realizing as well that don't take anything for granted. Don't assume that
Yeah.
things are coincidences. Like,
Mm.
don't downplay anything. Don't feel like, this is not important. This experience is not important, blah,
Exactly.
blah, blah. It all kind of adds in together. I always like to use
Exactly.
Steve Jobs. Um,
Mm.
he's the one that founded Apple, right? Am I correct? Yes, I
Ah,
believe he is.
okay, what happened?
Anyways, the founder of Apple. He talks about how there was one time in his life he worked on an apple farm, right?
Okay.
Yeah, and then he talks about there's different experiences he's had anyways. So
Okay.
for him, when he shares, oh,
Hmm. Let me look for a solution.
don't worry, ooh,
Thank
perfect,
you.
perfect solution. So for him, when he's sharing his story and his life, he always says that when he was in that job on an apple farm, he
Mm.
didn't understand what he was doing there. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, when he was creating this Apple phone or whatever it is, the MacBook
Yeah.
that has kind of changed the landscape of life as we know it. Like
Yeah.
it had a place for him because when he was thinking and refining his thoughts, some
Yeah.
experiences that seemed random actually had
Hmm.
a in him creating something as genius as this.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
so yeah,
No
there's
experience
no
is
lesson, no
wasted.
exactly, no experience is wasted. There's always something to learn from
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
So let me see, make sure that we haven't got any other questions as we're rounding up. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. We're rounding up.
Who
If
is here? Let's shout out to those that are tuned in
uh-huh,
while you're looking for whatever you're looking for.
uh-huh. I don't know how they used to do that. Oh yeah, shout out.
Me, do I know?
We're learning on it.
Huge shout out to everyone that's
Yeah,
watching.
so yes, so I've seen that we let me just shout out to the people that have liked
Okay.
liked the post. We have Tabitha Tonya, shout out to
Hi, my girl.
you. We have Abiola Ebohe. Hi.
Hi, Abiola.
We have Yin Layefa. Thumbs
Hi,
in
in
the
Life, my girly
response.
girly.
Yes. So let me see if we've got anyone actively watching.
Okay.
I don't know. That YouTube, I don't really understand.
Ah, hmm. If you ask me.
So, I can't even find YouTube again. Okay. Let's see. So we have two people that have like I don't know how to look to see.
It's
But
fine.
yeah,
Just don't
shout out
worry.
to everyone.
Don't worry. Yeah.
Thank you for tuning in. And
Yeah.
so final question that I always ask everyone that comes in on this
Yeah.
show, which I think you've kind of touched on, but I'll still ask you anyway. So
Hmm.
your younger self, let's say your 15-year-old self or your 17-year-old
Hmm.
self, looking back,
Yeah.
I know you've
Yeah.
already written letters to her, but maybe for those of us that have not read the book,
Yeah.
what would you tell her?
I'll tell her to see yourself as God sees you. I'll tell her that you are perfect.
Mm,
I'll tell her that God has made you perfect. I'll tell her to go for her dreams. I'll tell her not to downplay what she carries
mm,
in hope and expectation for more,
mm,
to just follow the path in front of her and it will lead her where she needs to be. I'll tell her not to be afraid. I'll tell her to be hopeful. I'll tell her that she indeed belongs here
Mm,
and there's a purpose for her life.
mm.
Mm. I can keep going. There's so many things, but
Okay, let me
the
ask
word
one
is enough for
final
the wise.
question because something just come to mind for me. So someone that perhaps has
Yeah.
maybe when they were younger, just like you, they put on
Mm.
a show, they loved singing, they loved pulling people together, but
Yeah.
life made them feel like this is not a serious job. Get
Mm.
a 9 to 5 or become an
Mm.
accountant or whatever. And maybe they are
Mm.
listening to you and they're feeling like, well, maybe I can also start to do all these different things. Maybe I can start to express these deep things that were in my heart
Yeah.
from the beginning. Like, what
Yeah.
would you say to her to kind of help her?
I will say go for it. I will say go for it. I will say I will say anchor in your purpose, and all of these things would, they would help you. There will be tools that you would use. So if you are, for instance, you're creative and you feel like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing something in this space, go for it. You might not leave your 9 to 5 because man has to eat. So you might not immediately leave what you're doing, but make sure that you anchor in that purpose,
Mm,
and you will get to where you're supposed to be. So just take it one day at a time, one step at a time,
mm,
one step at a time.
mm,
Start to do it little by little, build your audience little by little, and eventually you will find that, yeah, I can then do this full on. But
mm,
what I want to also remind everyone is that beyond the gift, beyond the talent, beyond all of that, there is an overarching purpose. And if you can hold on to that in times where you don't feel like it, or in times where you feel like life is making you not able to do that particular thing,
mm,
you still find that you are fulfilling purpose. And if it's that you're not singing, you might have another means of expression until you are then able to come back to singing. So
mm,
it's not like you're waiting,
mm,
missing out on what you're supposed to be doing.
mm.
Understand that there are times and seasons as well. And just go for it, really and truly, if that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid. Go for it. Go for
Thank
it.
you
Yeah.
so much. Such a wonderful interview. I really loved chatting with you, and
I'm telling
uh,
you, I loved it. Every minute
we'll
of
continue
it.
chatting
Yeah.
when we go off live. But
Yes.
thank you guys so much for tuning in. We know that your time is valuable, and we appreciate that you thought us worthwhile enough to listen. So
Mm,
I'm not hoping, I'm very sure that this conversation has been impactful for you.
mm.
And we'll catch you next time. Have a
Yes.
great weekend ahead. Bye,
Thank
guys.
you. Bye.
Okay, live stream has stopped.